So right now, well, as of December 2018, there's about 7 million job openings in the U.S.
7.3.
7.3, if we're counting, which we are. Not enough qualified workers to fill these up. And I got a haircut a long time ago, as you can tell. And the hairstylist, her husband's a roofer. And I said, "Oh, how's business? It's really hot outside." And she's like, "Actually, that's part of the problem. He works pretty slowly, and it's really hot out, and he really needs help." And I said, "Well, there's a lot of people who don't have jobs." And she's like, "Nobody will take this job.
Right.
Nobody wants to stand on the roof in the hot sun." He goes through a new person. Once a month, he'll hire someone. They last about 4 days. They don't show up on Friday. He's got to finish the job himself. That's like the story of this guy's life.
Yep.
And on the other side, college is super expensive now. People are having trouble getting jobs after they graduate. I was one of those people. I went to go get a job at Best Buy, and they were like, "You can sell CDs with Norman. He's 15. His mom just dropped him off. He's a freshman in high school."
Right.
I was like, "I got a 4-year degree in econ from Michigan. I am above this kind of work." And they went, "Great. What, you want to start on Monday?" And what? You get to stand next to Britney Spears. Fine. That was graduation. So I'm wondering, what do you think about free tuition for everybody? That's kind of the solution that people are posing now. I've got my own opinion on it, but I think I can probably guess what yours is, but I'm curious.
Look, of all the 4-letter words that start with an F, free has got to be the most alarming.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never found anything that is.
Yeah.
It gets political fast.
Yeah,
Everything
sure
does these days because everything is binary. But part of what frustrates me in a very general way with the way a lot of people think who are coming out of school right now is that there really and truly is such a thing as fill in the blank, free blank. What's the old expression? There is no such thing as a free lunch.
Right.
And there's certainly no such thing as a free education. And if anybody were to seriously want to talk about it, then my first comment would be, okay, just so we understand, the professors have waived their salaries. The administrative staff has waived their salaries. The football coaches waived their salaries. The custodians, all the people who take care of the institution, none of these people are being paid because they are working for free. Therefore, I can attend and not pay them since nobody anywhere is paying anybody. That's what free is. If you mean a version of free that involves somebody else paying instead of you, that's not free.
Mm-hmm.
So, the first thing that I would try to do if I were really getting sucked into a political diatribe on what to do about the rising cost of tuition is I would say set the table properly, and let's not use words that mean something other than what they truly mean, or let's at least agree to some shared definitions. Otherwise, we're just going to talk past each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for something like STEM or some job that's really in demand, but even then, you got to pay it back. Like, I'll happily send you to plumbing school if I'm going to get a return. Then it's an investment.
Right.
It's not a donation to your English degree or your anthropology degree.
Well, you also have to look at why college got as expensive as it is. And you have to, and this shouldn't be political, but if you go back to 1982, when I graduated from a community college and took a year or two off, and I went back to a university. But in 1982, well, let me say it this way. The cost of 2 years at a community college and 2 years at a university for me was just under $11,000. The exact same degrees today, an AA and a BS from the exact same places, are just under 90. So,
wow.
I'll say it like this. Nothing since 1982 has increased in cost faster than the cost of a 4-year degree. Not healthcare, not real estate, not food, not energy. Nothing.
That's saying a lot.
Nothing. So you can't just look at that, as some do, and say, well, that just proves how important it is. and how critical an investment it is. Because that's what we've been sold, right? We've been sold.
Yeah.
It's not an education. It's not a commodity. It's an investment. Okay. So why did the investment increase exponentially? And I'm not an economist by any stretch, but I think the biggest reason is because we embarked as a society on a concerted effort to tell a generation that the best path for the most people was a 4-year degree, which is also the most expensive path. And then we started showing them pictures of people who didn't get a 4-year degree, who were laboring in all kinds of other vocations that looked like some kind of consolation prize.
Yeah, the old work smart, not hard.
That thing was
guy welding or something.
Yeah, no, that literally was one of the first posters in a PR campaign for the big push for college. It was in my guidance counselor's office in 1979. Work smart, not hard is what it said.
Mm-hmm.
A picture of a graduate standing next to a guy holding a wrench, looking like he won the booby prize. Mm-hmm. So the tropes, bromides, and platitudes fueled the belief that if you didn't get a 4-year degree, you were screwed. So it's very different. College, higher education did need a PR campaign, and it got one. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of all other forms of education. Yeah. And so we turned all of these other pursuits into cautionary tales. Then we freed up a limitless supply of money. And then we put an incredible amount of pressure on kids to borrow whatever it took to get the magical paper that would ensure their happiness. So when people say, Mike, why did college get so expensive so fast? I say that for a lot of reasons, but the big thing behind it was this societal push that gave college permission to charge whatever they wanted. And so they have. And because it's couched as an investment, we just keep borrowing more and more and more. And it's amazing what comes back to me when I make this argument. People will sum it up and basically conclude that I'm anti-education or anti-college, and I'm not. But I am this is so important that we can charge whatever we want. That's just bullcrap, and that's what we've done. And look, it's one thing not to be able to find a job. It's one thing not to be sure what you want to do with the rest of your life. But to be unsure and untrained and in debt, 5 or 6 figures, very, very, very difficult for people to crawl out of that hole.
It's especially because it's really not a function of there not being any jobs. It's a function of not having enough qualified people to fill jobs that already exist, right? Mm-hmm. So the roofer who doesn't want to hire somebody who's off the books and can't find somebody who'll do the job. We're building a house pretty soon, and my wife's brother built a house, and he was saying the drywall guy can't even find somebody who's going to hold up the drywall. He's offering like $50 plus an hour, I think.
Yeah.
And he just can't find anybody to do it. You don't need that much special training. It's just that there's a perception issue where people go, well, I went to college. I'm not going to put up drywall.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Where's my magic job?
Right.
I paid my dues. They punched my ticket. Now I'm ready to, people, they seem to have stopped looking at jobs as rungs on a ladder and started looking at all of the rungs as a destination and concluded that, well, just because one rung is down here and the other rung is up there doesn't mean there should be a difference in pay. Well, of course there should. Your buddy who has a roofing company didn't always have a roofing company. He started roofing. He started working in the sun, and then he got good at it, and then he moved up. This idea of working in a workforce where there's no mobility, it's just not true. But it also informs a lot of the misperception, I think,